Hello there guys and welcome back to a brand new Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. Now over the last few weeks I've seen a lot of people suddenly start talking about Battlefront 2 development ending. I've seen YouTubers make videos on it, I've had it in my comments and I've seen it all over Twitter. Now I'm a little confused as to why this is, to be honest. I mean, a lot of what I hear back from when I ask this is about communication being quiet and developers leaving the game. Now both of those I'd say are pretty fair points. Communication recently has been quiet, but there's obviously a very obvious and clear reason as to why that is, which I'll get onto in just a second. And the whole thing with developers leaving, I think that we know of, we've only seen two people leave within the last week or so, and that is lead animator Harvey Newman and community manager Ben Walk. Now Harvey has gone to Build a Rocket Boy to work on a title there as gameplay animation director, and Ben is sticking at DICE, but he's moving on to the role as producer. Now he's leaving the Battlefront team, so I can only speculate and assume that this is for an upcoming title that will be launched later this next year. Now there are two games supposedly releasing before April 2021, but don't keep my word on that. Either way, I wish them all the very best, but developers will come and go. They want new challenges and new experiences, and given that DICE probably have a decent sized team on the game, if development was ending, I imagine we would have heard a lot more people leaving or moving on to something else, and we probably would have also seen some rumours from different sources that may have also appeared as well. Going back to the point of communication, we are in a global pandemic right now. This means that DICE has shifted their entire workforce to a work from home basis, which obviously means the workflows and the intercommunication between developers and other teams will be limited in comparison to how it was in the studio. Now workflows also have to be adapted, and obviously updates will of course be delayed, which has already been the case with the Scarif update, which has now got a rough release window of mid-April, which is next week. So hopefully we can see an update on that soon enough, and I'm hoping for it to be next Wednesday. On the point of delayed content as well, Battlefield 5 has also had delayed updates as well, which I believe has no content in April, and that has been shifted into May. Now the point here about the lack of communication is obviously completely expected during these strange and difficult times, so I don't really think it's anything to be worried about. Moving more on to why I don't think support is ending is, firstly, they keep adding new features that, quite frankly, if they were going to end support, why bother? Things like the consistent and constant changes for UI over the last couple of months, also certain things like offline support for this thing called missions, which I think is coming. That has obviously been leaked in the files recently. Now obviously whether that's coming or not I can't obviously be too sure, but they're still rolling out strong updates, and something as big as ending support so soon is something that we would have at least been probably told at least 2 months ago at the minimum, so that we can essentially prepare for it to end. They're not going to suddenly spring a surprise on us saying, oh sorry guys, this is the last update. They wouldn't really do that. I think from a communication standpoint and for DICE's public image, that wouldn't really look too good on their part. Not only that, but DICE literally rolled out the Celebration Edition back in December 2019, which, if you don't remember, saw the player base double within a few weeks, reaching its highest point since January 2018, and it also sold far more copies than EA even anticipated. Now let's just think about that for a brief moment. Why on earth would DICE end support for this game when literally just a couple months ago they doubled their player base? And why would they realistically do that when they can support this game for perhaps until the end of the year with strong and healthy numbers? Now if they are to do a Battlefront 3, then perhaps the celebration could have simply been a test to see whether there was still interest in the franchise. If it sold poorly, then they would have ended support perhaps in March this year for Battlefront 2, and they wouldn't have gone into Battlefront 3, but clearly there was still interest. Obviously, as I said, the player numbers doubled, so it sold well, so perhaps they could go on to do a Battlefront 3, but they could also go on to develop Battlefront 2 if they aren't planning on that. They can easily support this game for longer than the end of this year based on the amount of Star Wars content that there is at the moment, and obviously with a lot more to come. And with next gen consoles coming out this holiday period, DICE won't be as limited to certain things on consoles anymore. They can start to develop more complex systems and perhaps bigger and better experiences that we perhaps haven't been seen before due to these console limitations. The point of this video, guys, really is to just get you thinking and to have a discussion really. I personally don't think that there's any evidence to suggest that DICE is ending support on Battlefront 2, but ultimately we will have to wait and see. Now after hearing my thoughts though, I want you guys to let me know what you think of this whole situation. Do you think DICE are going to end support or not? And obviously tell me what you think and why. Now that is it from me today guys. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.